April is Financial Literacy Month. One survey found that 62% of people do not discuss money with their loved ones. So this morning in our series On the Money, we are talking about how to start those important conversations. So here to help us is Yanely Espinal, Director of Educational Outreach at the nonprofit Next Gen Personal Finance. She trains educators on how to teach financial literacy in high school, which is so important. Yanely, good morning.
Good morning.
I feel like growing up, we never talked about money in our house. I never knew what my parents made. I never knew our financial situation. Why is it so important to have those discussions?
I mean, there's so many benefits to talking openly about money in your family. A few of them are it builds trust and establishes a connection because you have this shared bond. A lot of us have struggles with money. It's not like uncommon. So when you have that shared commiseration over this money situation, it really builds a trust. And not only that, but it really helps you decrease stress because when you don't talk about money, it builds up financial anxiety and stress. So it kind of clears that up a little bit. And a lot of people think generational wealth means an inheritance or a trust fund, but a generational wealth of knowledge is something that you can also pass down to your children. And talking about money in your family definitely establishes knowledge and financial skills.
The right habits, the right practices,
exactly.
too. So I feel like there are two different people. I certainly don't talk to money about my siblings. I don't want to offer any advice or take any advice, but our parents as well.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why it's hard to talk to your family is because it's very emotional. In my family, for example, there's so much shame. My parents are first generation. They didn't really know how to set an example, but that's okay. I think for me now, talking to my parents or my siblings, I need to meet them where they are. And so you need to figure out what are their values and what are their financial goals. So like for my older sister, she has young children. I'm going to talk to her about 529 savings plans for her kids, and I know she's going to really be invested in that.
Right.
My younger brother, he's in the Army. He doesn't care about college savings. He wants to buy a car so he can go off the military base to a bar or a restaurant and have a good time on his day off. So I would talk to him about saving money to have a down payment for the car, and is he saving in the right accounts, right? So definitely think about how they feel about money. For my parents, I'm always like, how do you all feel about entering retirement? What are you feeling like? It's like instead of asking your kids to do their homework, ask them, how do you feel? How was your day today? Check in first. And that really helps you think about what are going to be the future expectations. Like some families, the expectation is like, I am my mom's retirement plan. I knew that. But other families, not so much. So really kind of decide, am I going to talk about my personal money, or are we really going to have an open conversation as a family and make that decision for yourself?
You know, let's talk about teens and money now, because there's something happening in high schools that wasn't happening when I was in high school. A lot of high schools have incorporated financial literacy into the curriculum.
As they should. 39 states right now require some level of financial literacy instruction, and 30 of those states require a standalone semester-long class, which is what research shows to be most effective. So we already know that they're in school talking about managing bank accounts, saving money, budgeting, taxes, and investing in credit scores. So when they come home, don't just say, hey, babe, how was your day at school today? Say, hey, I heard you talking about budgeting and banking apps in school. Which ones?
Okay.
Right? What kind of budgets are you talking about? And have them actually give you very specific things they're discussing to open that conversation up.
That's how you can advance the conversation.
Yeah, because the reality is they might be learning the concept, but you can really dive deeper, make the connections at home.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, Yanely, when I was a kid, PS 272, we had a banking, a savings banking account.
That's amazing.
But they don't seem to be doing that with younger kids these days. How do we start talking to these kids early on?
Simplicity is key here. What
the heck are you laughing about? What? What?
So Craig said they had savings accounts back then, and I said it's called a piggy bank.
No,
it's called a piggy bank.
And we had an abacus.
How did you know?
But here's the thing: the concept is the same. Al.
Yes.
Children don't work well with concepts and big ideas, or even the iPad and the laptop. Leave that for the teenagers. The young children, they need something like an abacus. Playing with beans, playing with actual coins and actual money. Tactile lessons that are hands-on work best with kids. And the reality is, this is how you build a financial foundation early. Some research shows kids as young as 6 or 7 years old, they already have cemented ideas about money and their values. So if you're not talking to them by that age, you got to start now.
All right.
By the way, we mentioned it was Take Your Kid to Work Day.
That's right.
This is Aiden.
Hi, Aiden. Nice to meet you, buddy.
Alex runs our wardrobe department.
In fact, usually kids get their first money when they lose a tooth.
That's right. Or they start asking, I want this toy, I want that. Okay, let's talk about it. That's right.
You know, thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want to lint roll, Mr. Roker? You want to lint? Yeah,
whoa, look at this. What an assistant. Great job.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.